Hi everyone. On the 24th of February, we have a full moon in Virgo. And of course, we're in Pisces season at the moment, and the full moon being in the opposite sign of Virgo does give that opposition energy of the sort of dreamy aspects and the subconscious, the hidden realms, the mystical, magical, ethereal, and the reality of keeping our feet on the ground. Because it's opposition energy, that can provide a bit of a challenge, but if we're aware of it, we can allow that energy to work for us. So of course, Sun in Pisces, Moon in Virgo. This is about the soul essence of wanting that dreaminess, but ultimately wanting within the emotional home of the moon to be able to bring those dreams into our reality and how that feels to us. Now, of course, full moons, perfect to work with the lunar energy for releasing. And they can also illuminate things for us as well, potentially things that do need to be released, or maybe just things we need to be aware of on our journey, because of course the full moon, as we know, illuminates the night sky. So with the full moon being in Virgo, this is mutable energy, and it could very well be heightened for the mutable signs of the zodiac. So that's Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, and Sagittarius. And with this mutable energy, there is a flow. Okay, there is a flow to this. But Virgo very much represents this perfectionism and also wanting to feel in control. Virgo likes to clean things up, to get our house in order in that respect. And because Virgo rules the 6th house in astrology, this is also about where we are of service to people and our well-being. So this illumination could actually show us things relating to our well-being. It could show us aspects of where we are of service to others that maybe we need to release or do things differently. And also in terms of our daily routines and schedules, where are things maybe not working for us? And this could be something that we are aware of already because of the transformation journey that we've been on. So of course, perfect time to release that which is not serving us for a full moon. But we may just be receiving those illuminations at this point. It depends where you are on your journey, of course. So bear that in mind. And also with Virgo, that critical sort of element, because of the perfectionism that is held within Virgo, there can be this critical element. So we want to not be too critical on ourselves on our journey, okay, because we are doing what we need to do. We're getting things done in the best way we can on our journey. So we just need to be mindful of that, because we don't want to be stressing about, you know, how things are not turning out the way that we wanted them to turn out. Maybe that's what we need to release, okay? That feeling of needing to be in control of everything, of how every little thing is going to turn out. This is where the flow is needed, and this is where we can actually take that energy from Pisces season, the fact that Sun is in Pisces, and understand that we can allow ourselves to dream a little bit. Okay, we need to be still keeping our feet on the ground in terms of the reality aspect, but bringing those dreams into reality, okay? Still having those dreamy visions for our life of what we want to create. This is the season to do it, okay? But we need to maybe just release some control around how that might be and allow more of the flow. That's what it feels like, okay? And as I was looking at the charts, I received something from Spirit, and that was a word, and it's persistence. So there is an element for maybe a few of you out there that could be feeling like you need to persist with something. This journey of evolution is quite challenging, okay? On this transformation journey, we're healing, okay? We're learning more, we're becoming more sovereign, we're having to step into our sovereignty more and more. And that can be a step out of a comfort zone. So there's something about persistence in this as well, relating to this full moon, okay? Still needing to release certain aspects, and perhaps if we're detaching from things that are not serving us, but it's been quite uncomfortable to do that, it's persisting because we need to know that that's for our highest good, okay? That feels like the message that was coming through for me. The other interesting thing is that the moon and the sun will both be at 5 degrees, because of course they'll be opposite. That's what happens in the full moon, 5 degrees. And in my recent astrology report on the exact Mars-Venus conjunction, they were both at 5 degrees when they came together in Aquarius. Now, of course, they've been close for a while. They're still close at the moment, so I'll show you that on the chart. But I was focusing on the exact conjunction, that moment when they both came together at 5 degrees. 5-5 is profound change. We've got 5-5 again here, folks, okay? So this is continuing the theme of profound change. Got some divination tools here as well to take some cards at the end, not tarot on this occasion, just oracle. So I'll use those at the end for extra messages. Of course, this will be time stamped, okay? And interestingly, I've got 5 decks here. So there we are, 5-5-5, okay? Just to clarify that. So let's jump into the chart and see what we've got, okay? Here we go. All right, so you'll see there, full moon in Virgo, okay? It's a freeze frame of the cosmos at the time of the full moon. And for us in the UK on GMT, it's happening at 12:30 on the 24th of February. So apply your own time zones as appropriate. And you'll see there that we've got the moon in Virgo, 5 degrees, as I mentioned, and very interesting, actually, at 23 minutes. Well, 2 and 3 is 5, so that's another 5. But there we go. The moon is there and it's opposite the sun in Pisces. Okay, 5 degrees. So we've got that going on. Now, the moon is actually in trine to Jupiter and also Ceres and Pars Fortunae, the pot of fortune. They all form a trine, okay? So you see the triangle in the middle. There is something additional, and that is that the Pars Fortunae, pot of fortune, is also in trine to Uranus, okay? So that's something additional to this. But the trine between these 4, okay, elements here, i.e. the moon, Ceres, pot of fortune, and Jupiter, is the main triangle that I'm focusing on here. But we do have that additional trine between Pars Fortunae and Uranus, okay? So this is about Earth energy, because we've got the moon in Virgo, Pars Fortunae and Ceres in Capricorn, and Jupiter, as well as Uranus in Taurus. That's Earth energy. This is about the reality. This is about what our reality is shaping up to be. Okay, and first and foremost, releasing anything that we no longer desire to have in our reality, because we're shaping this reality for ourselves. This is where the Piscean dreaminess comes in, okay, and allowing ourselves to dream our reality into being. Now, we know that when we were in Aquarius season, this was about, okay, new, innovative ways of how our reality is going to look, which can involve a step out of a comfort zone. But if those visions of what we want in our reality as a new way of being, a new way of connecting with people, is actually part of our dreams, then this Piscean season is all about allowing those dreams to take flight, okay, but in a grounded way, so that we can bring those dreams into our reality, because this trine here is Earth energy. And the moon being in trine to Jupiter, first and foremost, is saying that, yes, this full moon, so what's being illuminated and what we're releasing is allowing expansion, Jupiter energy, within our worth and values, Taurus. Okay, and vice versa, because as we're expanding our worth and we're realizing our worth and our values and how they might have changed, that is enabling us to release what is no longer in alignment with our worth and values. Okay, so it's a two-way street here in terms of how that's benefiting us emotionally from the emotional center, the moon, and the full moon particularly around releasing. But it could be for some of you that this is only just illuminating where things do need to change when it comes to worth and values to allow that expansion. And Jupiter can bring luck and fortune, okay, and hope. So there is a trine. This is a positive aspect. Okay, if there was a square here between the moon and Jupiter, that would be more of a challenging energy. But this is a harmonious aspect. So it's allowing for this expansion. The energy is there to allow for this expansion, as long as we know our worth and values and we're willing to release what we need to that's not in alignment with our worth and values. Okay, and ultimately, because the moon is also in trine to Ceres and Pars Fortunae, Ceres is also offering expansive energy. Now, this is divine feminine energy, okay, but there's also expansive qualities here, but in a very mini Jupiter way. Okay, it's no way as vast as Jupiter, because that's a gas giant, but this is about still some expansive qualities within the feminine essence, particularly. So the fact that we've been nurturing ourselves through this process in terms of what we do need to release and detach from, this is also helping that expansion, okay, because we are understanding more of our worth from us nurturing ourselves. And Pars Fortunae is saying there is fortune to be had in this moment as we do this, okay? And every time I say fortune, I don't want people to go straight to money, okay? Because Pars Fortunae can represent fortuitous moments and destined events that bring fortune, and fortune can be luck, joy, love, abundance, happiness, okay? And in this respect, because we've got a lot of expansive energy going on with Jupiter and with Ceres, and let's not forget they're both in trine as well, so that there is like a double emphasis of expansion, that fortune could be simply heightening the expansion within our soul, within our worth and values, okay? And it's positive, so that's why it's fortuitous, okay? But it's pivotal at this time of the full moon. So it all hinges on us releasing and detaching from that which doesn't serve us, okay? Even if that is of the belief, if we stay on the worth and values front, even if it's of the belief that we're not worthy of manifesting the reality of our dreams, okay? It could simply be releasing that, because that's a negative thought pattern. So we need to just bear all of that in mind, okay? Let's bear all of that in mind. And Pars Fortunae and Ceres being in Capricorn, yes, there is a more, I say harsh energy because it's that Saturnian energy, but it's also regimented, and it's very much about, okay, let's get things done. And if we are releasing and we're getting things done in that way, and also cleaning things up with the Virgo energy, then that is also going to enable us to be stronger and more expansive in our worth and values, okay? And with Pars Fortunae also in trine to Uranus, as part of this luck, this expansion, whatever this fortune, quote unquote, might be in this moment, or through this releasing work, okay, is facilitating change. And it's allowing us to feel more free, to feel more liberated in ourselves when it comes to our worth and values, okay? So that's that I wanted to focus on. Now, there is another trine, and before I mention this trine, part of what I was drawn to here, because of the full moon, and in terms of releasing, when I looked at this chart, first of all, I didn't look straight at the moon. I looked at Saturn, okay? So intuitively, I was guided straight to Saturn, which you'll see up here with the yellow line next to it. And then I was like, right, I know why I've been drawn there. Thank you, Spirit. 9 degrees, because 9 is all about releasing. So then I'm thinking, is there anything else going on at 9 degrees? Well, yeah, there is. Venus. Okay. And you can see there that Venus there at 9 degrees, Mars is there at 8 degrees. So they're still close. Okay. They're still close. Masculine and feminine, still close. And Pluto is there. Deep transformation is going on. Okay. But with this other trine, and I'll come back to Saturn in a moment, because of course the other trine relates to Venus, and that is in trine to the south node. Now there is a square from the south node that's going to Pars Fortunae. Okay, and squares can represent challenging energy. So let's focus on the square first of all, with south node in Libra, okay, and Pars Fortunae in Capricorn. This is all about us cleansing the karma, healing from the karma of potentially past life situations and connections and experiences that have been coming up in this lifetime for healing, if that's resonating for you. It could simply be karmic situations of the past in this lifetime, if the past life thing is not resonating for you, okay? So it can feel challenging in terms of where is our fortune? And I'll remind you that that is not about money necessarily. This is about luck, happiness. So feeling that challenge, because we've been going through this kind of karmic, what do I want to say? Almost like a mud pond is what comes into my mind. We've been trudging through it to heal, to cleanse, okay, and all of that. And it can feel arduous. So it's like, is this actually bringing me any luck? The challenging feeling within of, you know, is this actually going to be fair? South Node in Libra. What I'm doing with cleansing this karma, is it going to enable me to actually lay a fair foundation? Well, that's what we're striving towards. And Venus would say, well, yes, we are, as long as we're investing in the right places, people, things, okay? And when I say investing, this is about investment of our resources, investment of our energy, investment of our time, investment of our love, investment of our money. It can relate to that. It's wherever we're investing our resources. But let me tell you, our energy is extremely valuable. So where are we investing that? If we're investing that in the right places, that is enabling us to build that fair foundation and cleanse out the karma. But because we're talking about our investments, that challenge with Pars Fortunae is, are we getting that return? So we need to have that in mind when it comes to our Venus investments. Yeah, that makes sense. And maintaining that balance with the masculine and feminine, because Mars is right there, of course, you know. So they are balanced in that way, although Venus is slightly ahead here. So this is about the feminine taking the lead, little bit of the lead, okay, to actually say, right, where am I in my heart space investing my resources? If I invest them in the right places that are going to bring me that reciprocal energy, then that's going to enable me to build a fair foundation. Okay, it just might feel challenging because we've got to face that. Where are we investing? Who are we investing in? Okay, the feminine aspect here, the heart chakra, we need to focus on that first. Okay, because of Venus being 1 degree ahead of Mars in that way. Lead from the feminine aspect. Okay, maintain the balance, but lead from the feminine aspect. With the reciprocal energy, sorry, I was trying to say two things at once. With the reciprocal energy, that's also important to bear in mind, because the feminine essence is very much that nurturing, giving, loving, empathic quality. But we need to also be open to receive. So that could be another reason why there might be a challenge with this Pars Fortunae, because it's almost like, well, the challenge could come in receiving this fortune, quote unquote, when it comes to reciprocity with, you know, the foundation, laying the fair foundation, cleansing the karma, South Node in Libra, because we need to focus on, are we investing in the right places to get that return? But are we also being open to receive that return? Okay, so we might be investing in the right people. We might be investing in the right places. We might be investing in the right projects, situations. But are we open to receive that reciprocity back? Okay, so we need to look at that. And if there's any fears holding us back, then that could also be what we need to release. And this full moon might be illuminating this for us. Okay, so that's what I will say to that. And Saturn, also at 9 degrees, where I was drawn to initially, is of course opposite the moon, because Saturn is fairly close to the sun at this point. So there is that opposition energy. And Saturn, as well as many things, rules karma. So if we're looking at the karma that we've been cleansing, I've just been talking about, then this is that emphasis about, okay, we've got to get our emotions in check here to actually heal, cleanse this karma, release what we need to. Okay, but the push-pull feeling might be another lesson. Is this another lesson, Saturn? Is this another lesson? Yes, it is another lesson, because Saturn is not messing around. Okay, Saturn wants us to get in alignment with our spiritual truth. And because he's regimented and devoid of emotion as well, okay, to get the job done, because there's focus, there's drive there, He wants us to learn these lessons. Okay. Now, caveat here, we learn at our own pace. We are all unique. We're on our own journey. But this is about challenging us to say, okay, we need to release what we need to release, because we're detaching from the old that doesn't serve us, because we're stepping more into alignment with our spiritual truth. The sun is in Pisces now. Mercury is also in Pisces. So get in touch with our intuition more, strengthen that bond with our intuition, become more accustomed to that. And let's not forget, Neptune is also in Pisces at home. So we've got powerful Piscean energy going on to connect us to our spirituality. And Saturn in Pisces is a bit of a weird one, because Saturn is very kind of harsh, that masculine energy, very driven. And Pisces is very soft and floaty and dreamy. So Pisces will soften Saturn a bit, but Saturn will also bring order to Pisces where it's needed. And this is about getting us in alignment with our spiritual truth. Now, I was also, just as I was saying that, taken back to the moment when Saturn moved into Pisces, which was last year on the 7th of March. So it's almost a year that he's been in Pisces, okay? And it's been a year of lessons, okay? And this will continue because he's getting us in alignment with our spiritual truth, our soul's truth. And he entered, this is so amazing, actually, this is coming through now. Thank you, Spirit, so much. He entered Pisces, okay, I believe it was 55 minutes after the full moon in Virgo at that point, okay? And I did a video on this, so you can always check it out on my channel. I did a video on this because I said that the full moon, it was almost like the full moon stepped into the interview interrogation room with you, turned on the light, so illuminated things, turned on the light in the interview interrogation room. 55 minutes before, Saturn walks in the room and says, hi, I'm in Pisces now. Have you learned those lessons from when I was in Aquarius for the past 3 years? No? Okay, let's go round again and let's see if you can learn them this time. And that sounds harsh, but Saturn can be, because Saturn is a teacher and a powerful one at that. So the fact that he's at 9 degrees at this point, there is emphasis here about releasing. There is that reminder about the 55 minutes and the fact that I've said 5-5, okay? So we need to understand that in this past year, just under, that we've been going through a lot of lessons and we've had to navigate some challenging situations, okay? So let's be proud of that first and foremost. Let's nurture ourselves through this with the flow of the mutable energy, okay? However, let's make sure we're also detaching from that which we need to, that which no longer serves us in our reality, because that's also going to make Saturn happy as well, okay? So there we go. That's probably why I was drawn to Saturn when I first looked at the charts. So thank you for that. We also have another square, and that's with the moon and Pallas. So Pallas, the asteroid, also divine feminine energy in Sagittarius. And I've mentioned this in a recent video as well, that this is about the learning and discovery from the Sagittarius energy of the journey, if you like, in terms of love and beauty, because Pallas represents love and beauty. So the challenge might be here where we need to accept that love and beauty within ourselves, okay? Because there's also a square going up to the sun as well. I've just not drawn it on here. So this is about, you know, the beauty that is within our soul, that we hold within our soul. And certainly Pisces season is all about embracing the spirituality, our soul essence, connecting with that inner compass within, that ethereal essence of divine source energy, okay? And how beautiful we are on a soul level. And we've maybe had to learn that, discover that through everything that we've been going through, because it's like, hang on, why is this happening to me? I am a beautiful soul here. I've remembered who I am as a soul, or maybe I'm partly remembering who I am as a soul, and I'm not standing for this anymore. So these are the things I need to release, because I hold beauty within my soul. I hold love within my soul, and I'm worthy of great things. I'm stepping into my sovereignty and so on. Okay, so the challenge might just be in the emotions and within the soul, because we need to understand how we feel about the beauty we hold within our soul. We need to be proud of it, not resisting it. And so interesting that I'm also drawn to right now, thank you, Spirit, once again, that this in the middle here, because how I've drawn these aspects, you'll see that there's a lot more going on, but these are the ones I was particularly drawn to because I'm intuitively guided to them, okay? But that looks like an arrow to me. So when we think of Sagittarius, and you'll see the glyph here, it is an arrow because it's the archer shooting the arrow in the direction of what we want. And this is about us manifesting the reality that we want, but we've had to learn on the journey as a process. And where's the arrow pointing here? If I'm looking at it like this, I know that a triangle has 3 points, but looking at this symbol as it is, okay, and how that cross, that red cross, how similar that looks to the glyph as well, it's pointing towards Jupiter and Uranus. Now, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but Jupiter was also the original ruler of Pisces. So there is spirituality here, there is expansion here, and we can aim for this. We can shoot our arrow towards that as long as we know who we are, the beauty we hold within our soul, what we need to detach from because we've understood our worth and values, and how that all ties in with where we're investing our resources. Are we open to receive the reciprocity, or is any more healing needed around that? Okay. And ultimately, this whole process relates to Saturnian lessons. Okay. So it's almost done a full circle, almost, because of what I said. So cycles closing out, that's very significant. Okay. And remember that word I was given as I was preparing the charts was persistence. So persistence towards the direction in which we're going. Okay. For our highest good and the reality that we want to dream into being in that way. Okay. And there's an interesting quote, actually. It's from a TV show that I love called Modern Family, and I'm probably going to misquote it, so apologies in advance, but it's all about the dreamers and the realists. So when you think of Pisces and Virgo in this particular respect, because they're opposite each other for this full moon, but it's something like, you know, the dreamers need the realists because they need to have their feet, you know, on the ground, but the realists also need the dreamers, because how are you ever going to sort of dream anything if you haven't got that? It's something like that. I really can't remember the quote, but definite there is that need to balance it out between the dream and the reality. We also need to balance the masculine and the feminine, as we know, and certainly from that conjunction there's been a lot of intense transformation happening within ourselves, but also within connections as well. Okay, and that's also helping to cleanse the karma. And just on that, I mean, we've got with Juno, with the committed partnerships, supportive partnerships, soul contracts, okay, where love is at the foundation. And as I've mentioned before, this can be a friendship, it can be a family connection, it can be a work connection. It doesn't have to be romantic, it can be, but Juno represents love and marriage. So in this context, I've been saying supportive partnerships, and where there is love at the base. And Juno is currently in retrograde, so we might be reflecting on those supportive partnerships, those soul contracts in our life. But notice how close Juno and Lilith are now. So they are forming a conjunction, not an exact one, but that's saying that the shadow work that we're having to face from Lilith, okay, and our deep desires are coming to the forefront now within our supportive partnerships, within our supportive connections, and within our soul contracts, okay? And they also form a trine. I've just not drawn that one on because it would have been too messy, but they also form a trine with both Uranus and Jupiter, as well as Pars Fortunae and Ceres. So it's all linked around this full moon as well with what we're releasing and detaching from. Some of that can be the shadow aspects, and the supportive partnerships there, the soul contracts there, helping us through this to enable expansion, to bring fortune in these moments, to also allow the nurturing from that divine feminine essence of Ceres as well, but also to facilitate change and to liberate us into that new way of being. Okay, that's why it's a supportive partnership. That's why it's a soul contract in that way. Okay, so let's stop sharing that chart, and I'm just going to show you, just to give you context for the house system, I'm going to show you the UK's chart. Okay, I'm just going to take a sip of water, bear with me. Okay, so here we have the chart that shows the UK's natal chart in the middle, and then the outer wheel is the full moon in Virgo, just what I've shown you. Okay, so again, I always say this, smaller circle in the middle looks a bit messier because I've drawn exactly what is on the other one, but it's just smaller. Okay, this gives you context for the house system. So if you've got your natal chart and you put it against the full moon in Virgo, it will tell you where it's happening in your chart. For the UK as a collective, this is happening in the second house of worth and values. And notice that the moon is 5 degrees off the UK's natal moon. So we could be feeling this. Okay, and again, Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, the mutable signs could be feeling it more anyway. So there is emphasis here around our feelings when it comes to worth and values, in terms of what we need to release, what we need to detach from, and maybe what's coming up for us, what's been illuminated to us in that realm, where we might be feeling like we need to control our emotions in situations also. But ultimately, yeah, second house. So the sun is in the opposite house, the 8th house of power and passion. So this is about our empowerment. We need to feel empowered. So we need to ensure that we've got our emotions in check when it comes to that as well, to allow that balance. Rather than it being opposition energy, we want it to work for us. Okay, so it's allowing us to feel empowered and to uphold our worth and values when it comes to this moment. Okay, the trine that's going on with the moon, okay, and Pars Fortunae and Ceres in the 6th house, which is actually the Virgo house in astrology, and Uranus and Jupiter are there, but Jupiter is in the 10th house, Uranus is in the 11th house. Okay, so we'll focus on Jupiter because that is about inner authority. So our daily routines and schedules, our well-being, and where we are of service to others is going to allow us to expand our inner authority when it comes to our worth and values, and maybe in our work life, as long as we're detaching from that which is not in alignment with our worth and values. Okay, and there's also this change in terms of how we can liberate ourselves and feel free to be ourselves when it comes to our worth and values in our connections with others, 11th house, when we can do that. Okay, and how that in turn might also be bringing the quote unquote fortune into our lives, into our daily routines and our well-being. So the fortune here could be fantastic well-being because of all this change. Okay, that's positive because we need to feel like we are operating from that place of love, kindness, and that positive energy rather than lack, fear, and all of that. So we need to start with the worth and values. We need to allow that expansion in our inner authority, and that's going to bring that return of the nurturing energy, also the change when it comes to our connections with others. Okay, perhaps our work is also changing, and ultimately where we can be of better service to others because we are actually focused on our own well-being to make those improvements. Okay, with Venus and that trine that's going to the South Node is in the 4th house of foundations for the UK, and Venus and Mars and Pluto are in the 7th house of relationships. It's not just relationships with others, because the 11th house here is connections with others, but 7th house, relationships with people, places, and things. So I was saying about our investments. Where are we investing our resources? In what relationship are we investing our resources? So we have relationships with ourselves as well, and how we talk to ourselves. So that needs to be focused on. We're talking to ourselves in the right way. We're showing ourselves enough energy. Is that enabling the balancing out of the karma? Because we've decided to give back to ourselves in that relationship we have with ourselves. Are we in a relationship with another where we're investing a lot and we're not open to receive? And that's what's bringing the challenging energy, and it's not making us feel that great. 6th house well-being. And perhaps where we're being overly of service to someone and we're not being open to receive back, or we're not getting that back. That could be the challenging energy. Okay. But ultimately, we want to balance out the karma. And if it's a past life connection and our relationships with people, places, things that link to a past life scenario or karma from this lifetime, it could be just challenging for us to understand where that reciprocity isn't, where it's needed. Do we need to be open to receive? Is it the other person? Is it the place? Are we not getting anything back from it now? Do we need to make a change? And of course, Pluto's there to remind us of the deep transformation that we do need to liberate ourselves, because this is Aquarian energy as well. Okay. Saturn is in the 9th house of learning and discovery. So we might only just be now really understanding and discovering where we have had to learn these lessons in the past year. And this is also connected to our intuition because Neptune is in the 9th house as well. So this is about, you know, that ethereal essence and getting more in touch with our spirituality. We've been learning that. And as a result, our intuition has been telling us, okay, that was a lesson and we need to learn from it now, because they can keep repeating. They can keep repeating in different scenarios until we learn the lesson. Okay, and notice there how the MC is also 9. So that's the midheaven of the actual event. So 9-9, emphasis on releasing here. So I'm just immediately drawn to crown chakra, because for me, if I look at a natal chart and I look at the midheaven, it gives me that crown chakra vibe. Okay, so this enlightenment that we're receiving via our intuition is pivotal in terms of what we need to release, the karma that we're healing, the lessons that we're learning, how regimented we need to be in our own life moving forward to allow ourselves to dream our reality into being. So that's very significant as well. Okay, and that could be where the persistence message comes from, because we need to be persistent with our own intuition. We're forming that bond with our intuition. It's getting stronger and stronger, and we're learning and discovering perhaps where there have been patterns in the past. And it's like, right, that's why that happened 4 or 5 times. Okay, yeah, it was a lesson. It was just presented to me in a different way because I didn't learn it. Now I'm not going to allow it to happen again because I'm worth more than that, for example. Okay. And the other square was with the moon and Pallas, and Pallas is in the 5th house. So Pallas, that represents love and beauty, is in the house of love. And notice that the vertex point is there as well. So this is a fated and destined moment. Okay, that's where the vertex shows us. So for this as an event, okay, and notice that he or she, I'm saying he, I'm actually choosing for it to be masculine, but it doesn't have to be. The vertex point is actually 3 degrees off the UK's natal Pallas. So there is emphasis on this love and beauty. Okay. And for the UK, I mean, Pallas is in Scorpio, so that's deep. That's the depth of how beautiful and loving one could be, and one could show, one could give. Okay. But we know Pallas herself is actually in Sagittarius. It's just here, the 5th house has a bit of Scorpio and a bit of Sag. So that's the fire energy, but that's the discovery element, and only 3 degrees off the UK's natal Saturn. So again, a lot of karmic stuff might have been coming up when it comes to the heart chakra. So the vertex point here might be saying, right, this is actually a destined moment for us to take a look at ourselves here in terms of our heart chakra. And are we actually showing ourselves that love and beauty that we have within us, within our soul? Are we recognizing that? Because if we can recognize that, we know what we need to detach from. We know what we need to release. And if we've got that feeling within us of being comfortable in that love and beauty, why do we need the Virgo energy of the kind of perfectionism of how things maybe should be? You know, we need to look at this, because I'm saying that because there's a square, so I'm looking at the shadow side of Virgo, okay? But this is about understanding that we can allow this energy to work for us, because Virgo can also help us get things in order. So this is a chance now for us to get things in order when it comes to the heart space, the heart chakra, okay? Healing the karma, learning the lessons, discovering what this is all about, and detaching from that which is not serving us. Lilith and Juno, they are in the third house of expression. So supportive partnerships, connections, soul contracts, expression and communication is needed here. The third house is opposite the ninth house. So there may be this kind of, you know, let's not forget what's going on in the ninth house. Saturn is there. So there could be karma associated to these soul contracts. Wouldn't be surprising, because they're a soul contract. So this is part of a soul bond with somebody, potentially relating to past lives, okay? But there's an ethereal essence here. So let's understand why it's happening. It's for soul growth. And let's allow that to come forth to enable all of this beautiful expansion that's on offer. Because let's not forget, Lilith and Juno, through that shadow work that's being done in these soul contracts, can feel heavy, yes. However, it's soul growth, and it's also forming that trine, which is not drawn on here, with Uranus and Jupiter, Pars Fortunae and Ceres. So it's allowing for expansion in a beautiful way. It's bringing fortune into our lives. It's bringing expansion, and it's allowing us to feel free and liberated. But the square might just be saying, with the moon and Pallas, are we recognizing that love and beauty we hold within ourselves of what we could offer to a situation like this? We know that there is that square that's going on with the South Node and Pars Fortuna. It's like, okay, if there is karma to kind of wade through, are we really going to receive like the fortune from this? Because it feels quite intense, because we're having to go through these lessons. So that might just explain some of the aspects going on within relationships and connections, and how it's impacting on the feelings because of it being a full moon, okay, and what it could be illuminating to us. But the positive that comes from the shadow work we're doing within and also outside of the soul connections, the soul contracts, if they're supportive partnerships, we're getting through it together. And that's allowing for that expansion, and it's allowing for that freedom and liberation, and it's allowing for that fortune to be brought to us in our situation. Okay, very powerful stuff. Very, very powerful stuff. But as I say, 5-5, profound change. And the link back to when the full moon was there preparing us for Saturn moving into Pisces, 55 minutes before. So I was drawn to that for a reason. This is all about change, major change, major change. Let's jump into the cards. Right, bear with me. And it's about being persistent, as I mentioned. Okay. So as I explained, I have got 5 decks here, and they are all oracle cards. Okay, I might do a separate tarot reading at some point. First of all, let's go with Queen of the Moon, because of it being a full moon, and because we're all sovereign beings, king or queen. Okay, let's see what we have for the collective for the full moon in Virgo, please. What does the collective need to know for the full moon in Virgo? Wow, okay. That's interesting. Realization. So this is that illumination, isn't it, of the full moon? Okay, perhaps we're realizing where that portal is for us. And that's like a keyhole, isn't it? So this is something opening up for us. It's a portal to a different reality, but the reality that we crave, because it's card number 3, manifestation. So the new moon, we've got a super new moon on the 10th of March in Pisces. So, you know, Pisces, spirituality, ethereal essence, super new moon, manifestations. Yeah. So this is about realizing what that reality could be for you. And the full moon might be illuminating that. okay, but there's certainly realizations. It's almost like clarity and aha moments could be coming in at the moment about anything, okay. On the bottom we have boundaries. So understanding we need to ensure we have healthy boundaries in all situations to protect our energy, okay. So that's just something that's in the hidden energy, and just be mindful of that, okay. Remember, Virgo also relates to well-being, so we need to make sure we are in that bubble, okay, to protect ourselves when it comes to our own boundaries, especially where we're investing our resources, okay. We need to have boundaries in place, but also understanding where we might need to allow those boundaries to maybe open up a bit if we've been too guarded. So there's like a double message there, but healthy boundaries, absolutely, that is a key message. Oh, and I say key, there we go. And I say key, there we go. Key message, right, let's have a look. Let's go with the Moonology Oracle deck, the original deck. Full moon in Virgo, please, for the collective. Those two wanted to flip. And that is very interesting. Okay, so we've got hold your vision, and we've got prosperity lies ahead. That's Taurus energy. Okay, so that relates to worth and values and resources. And then on the bottom, don't let your past hold you back, South Node. So the cleansing of karma and all of that, and the past in this lifetime, don't let it hold you back. These are lessons we're having to learn. Carry the wisdom forward, but leave the pain in the past. Because prosperity lies ahead. So we need to just hold our vision, okay, in relation to all of that. And notice that's fixed energy, fixed moon, and this is a mutable full moon. So there's more of a flow. So we need to flow, but we need to maintain the vision that we have for our reality, because prosperity, think of that as the Pars Fortunae moment that I mentioned. Prosperity lies ahead, but we need to understand our worth and values, because that's Taurus energy. Okay. Wisdom of the Oracle. The fates. Okay, what do we need to know, please, for the full moon in Virgo? What do we need to know? Okay. We have, now this came out in reverse, higher power. So connect in with that higher power, the ethereal essence of Pisces season, spirituality, source energy within, our intuition, our higher self, okay? So that's about getting in tune with your higher self. And remember I said in the astrology about the crown chakra moment and how this is linked into releasing. And this is unbelievable. Thank you. What's in a third eye? A key. There we go. Chaos and conflict, 33. You might have been feeling that. You might have been experiencing this. And this is about the shedding of that. Okay. And it feels to me with this one, because this is almost like it's a zebra underneath, but notice that this skin is actually cracking and breaking off. And do you know what's coming through to me there? Like a hard shell. So this could tie in with boundaries. So maybe the chaos and conflict we've been experiencing is because we've had too much of like a hardened shell because of the pain of the past that we need to let go of, that came out just now, to show our true self, okay? Because it's been causing chaos and conflict inside us, and we might have been experiencing that because our inner reality is reflected back to us in our external reality, okay? And this is card 33. So that's all about, it's a master number, and that's all about manifestation, okay? So we don't want to manifest any more chaos and conflict in our lives. We need to show ourselves for our true self and allow the hardened exterior that's built up over time because of pain to be released, okay, with this full moon in Virgo. to access our higher power, because we've got the key within our third eye. Because on the bottom, what we had is Trevor's Island, obviously, Treasure Island. Oh, dearie me. Oh, dearie me. It's been a long week, so forgive me. But yeah, Treasure Island. We know where Treasure Island is for us. And you might be thinking, no, I don't, Kirsty. It's in the hidden energy. So how are you going to get to it? Higher power and releasing chaos and conflict to then be your true self, to be aligned with that. And that's when your treasure will be revealed. Okay. And there is a very watery essence to this as well. Lots of love hearts and stars. So quite Piscean and dreamy as well, if I say so myself. Right, star codes astro. But if you know a Trevor, it could be Trevor's Island. Oh, wow. Okay. Ooh, okay. Venus and third house, but third house is in reverse. Where was Juno for the UK? Third house of expression. So in a love situation, communication is not happening. Right. Okay. Saturn. If anybody's watching this and they've gone straight to the cards, okay, because I'll timestamp it, you might just want to go back and check the astrology, because there are synchronicities all over this. Okay, full moon in Virgo. Full moon in Virgo, please, for the collective, using the Star Codes Astro deck. What else do we need to know? Thank you. What else do we need to know for the collective? That one, and that one. On the bottom, we've got Capricorn in reverse. Okay, so that is a Saturnian card. That's all about achieving. It is where Pars Fortunae is going to be, and Ceres. So there is something about needing to be open to achieve the fortune and to achieve the expansion and the nurturing that's on offer. Okay, we've got Vesta here, sacred flame energy. Okay, that is, it's an asteroid, so I always attribute it to goddess Bridget, keeper of the sacred flame. Okay, I've got St. Bridget's cross here. This is very, very much about creation energy, and from that divine feminine aspect of creation. Okay, but ultimately understanding what our sacred flame is. What is that flame that sparks within us, that inspires us to create? Okay, and that's in the upright, but the other two are in reverse, and it's Scorpio in 10th house. So Scorpio is about going deep. Okay, and the 10th house is all about authority and work as well. So maybe there is something that you need to go deep and investigate a bit further when it comes to work, because this is waiting for you, but maybe there's still some investigation going on, if that makes any sense. Or the need to go deep, okay, to understand what that sacred flame is in order to receive that fortune and expansion and the nurturing. Okay, Goddess Spirit Oracle deck. I love this deck. What have we got, please, for the collective for the full moon in Virgo? What have we got, please, for the full moon in Virgo for the collective for the spirit? Thank you. That's interesting. Okay, so we've got Nemetona. Okay. And on the bottom, hidden energy, we've got Bastet. So that is also representing boundaries, which came up in the Queen of the Moon deck in the hidden energy. So that's also hidden energy. So boundaries is definitely key. And it says here, independence, protection, and boundaries. And on the Nemetona card, it says serenity, meditation, and solitude. Okay. And that is very much the Piscean energy, but also Virgo energy, because Virgo is the hermit in tarot. And that is all about introspection. So, and what did I just say? Virgo is the hermit in tarot. The hermit. There we go. So Nemetona personifies sacred space in nature within groves and the trees. She is sacred space, wherever that is for you. When you are always on the go, it's hard to connect to your higher self, to tune into your powerful intuition. Create your own sanctuary, a place where you can retreat, take time to meditate in solitude, to hear your soul's voice. And the affirmation here is, I create sacred space for myself. And notice how that links also to this, because of connecting with your higher power through doing that. Okay, and Bastet, yeah, that's the emperor. So it's equivalent to the emperor, this Egyptian essence. So we've got Celtic, okay, and Egyptian essence. Cat goddess Bastet, also known as Bast, was originally a fierce lioness and warrior goddess of the sun. She was worshipped throughout most of ancient Egypt. Domestic cats are hallowed to this day as they eliminate rodents, thereby protecting us from disease. As she is feline in nature, Bastet is independent. She teaches us to develop inner strength and not to be swayed by the opinions of others. It's okay to be wild, just set healthy boundaries. Her playful side inspires you not to take yourself too seriously. Affirmation here is, I honor my power and independence. Okay, so that's very important, to remain independent, but to be open to receive the divine love, joy, blessings, opportunities that we're worthy of. Okay, but make sure you have healthy boundaries in place, because that is that protection. Okay, but we know that where there's been too much guardedness of the past, it's caused too much chaos and conflict. So we're shedding that whilst maintaining the healthy boundaries, carrying the wisdom from the past forward into our new experiences through our higher power. Okay, and we connect through that via this solitude. So creating that sacred space for you, and that beautiful synchronicity from Spirit there, thank you so much, with the Hermit card that I'd mentioned just before looking at that. So this is about embodying the Virgo energy of the Hermit, okay, the introspection, but also the Piscean energy of the spiritual essence, the meditation, the connection with the higher power. And that is how, if I'm looping it right back to the beginning where I said about Pisces and Virgo are opposite, but we can allow ourselves to utilize that energy to work for us with the 3D and 5D link. So being in that sort of dreamy state, to allow ourselves to dream what we want to create for our lives, and to manifest that into reality by allowing that earth energy to ground us in. So bringing our dreams into reality, and the mutable energy of those two signs, allowing the flow between the two. Okay, so that's very prominent here, I feel. So I'll leave it there, and I'm wishing you all the best for this full moon in Virgo. Okay, understand that whatever's coming up, being illuminated to you, is for your highest good, and it could be a Saturnian lesson. It could be something that needs to be released, okay, in order to move forward, because of what I've mentioned and what you've seen in the chart there. The potentiality of the energy is offering expansion, freedom and liberation and change in that way, as well as that reciprocity within our investments, okay, and our connections, if we can allow that, because there was that square. It's a bit of challenging energy, but being open to receiving the fortune from this. So being open to receive the expansion, being open to receive that nurturing, and allowing that to come forth, because the expansive quality of Jupiter, when Jupiter's involved, and if Pars Fortunae is in the mix, this could be major, major expansion for us, okay, in a positive way. But we need to detach from that feeling of needing to be in control of everything. Everything has to be so perfect with that Virgo energy. No, we need the Virgo energy to work for us by introspecting, okay, being that healer of, you know, our own life in that way, and really understanding, yes, control is great, because we need to control our own destiny. We are the ones that are in control of our own destiny, but without being too controlling of the outcome or how it might look. Okay, because of being perfectionist or being too critical of certain situations. We need to allow that flow with the Piscean essence of the dreamy nature, allow ourselves to dream, because maybe there is that sort of feeling of, with the critical aspect, that can't possibly be my reality. It has to look that way. Well, no, Pisces is allowing that flow of your dreams can become your reality if you just, you know, let go of the control a bit. So the mutable aspect, the solitude, the introspection, the connection with the higher power, but also allowing yourself to ground it into reality by doing things. Okay, not just dreaming, we need to be doing things. And that's how the energy can work for us. But ultimately detaching from that which is not in alignment with our worth and values anymore. And we could understand that through meditation, through connection with our intuition. Okay. So sending you love and blessings. Happy full moon in Virgo. And then we've got another lunar event coming up on the 10th of March, which is the super new moon in Pisces. So I'm excited for that. So sending you all the best. And until the next time, take care. See you soon. Bye for now.